Hi guys, in this video we're going to be looking at these Chaos Dreadnoughts and the smallest of the small, these Chaos Squats.
Scruffy Crow.
Okay, so this is two of the support choices for my standard Chaos company. I've got enough squats for 1, 2, 3, 4.5 bases on these sprues. So we've got 2 missing, so we might have to get a little bit ingenious about what we do for the last one. So first things first, I'm going to get all these snipped out, and we'll have a look at putting them on some bases. Okay, here they all popped out, and here I'm trying to work out what I'm going to do with the incomplete base. Johnny was kind enough to throw in some of these aerials, or banner poles I guess. So I'm just going to pop a little banner pole in there. Okay, so now for the trusty emery board. So these guys have got a connection on their base, and that'll stop them from sitting in the bases nicely. That is very quickly remedied. So I'll sit and do all these. Okay, they've all got flat little bottoms. Some of them still have their top connection point, which I'm going to remove at some point, but I might wait until they're stuck down. All of them are going to have a little tiny mold line trim session. But I said I might wait until, I might see what it's like when a base is stuck down, see if I can still get all these bits. These guys are so awesome. Okay, so I lost a little bit of video here, but all I did was use some plastic glue to stick the squats in the holes, which was particularly satisfying. Okay, so I've gone around the base, the short filled base, and just added a bit of filler. And I've just popped a little bit of filler in the flagpole hole on the rest of the bases. And these guys are ready for some sand now. Okay, so I just extracted these guys from the sand, and the walkers are looking great. But I have noticed a bit of a problem with my squats. My normal method in sand, which obviously I would use on a 28mm figure, is not necessarily the best way of doing it for these. What these guys have ended up with, even though I'm using a finer sand, I think I've either left them in the sand too long, or I've put too thick a layer of glue on, or both. So they have ended up a little bit buried. So I'm not entirely sure what the solution is here, because it currently looks like they don't have legs at all. I mean, they didn't have massive legs to begin with. Okay, I waited until the sand was dry on these guys, and I chiseled it off, and here's the crispy bits here. And now what I'm doing is I'm reapplying the sand in a much thinner layer. The reason why it looks like that is because I'm actually just using some of this black paint. Years and years ago when I started the hobby, I knew people who used to do all of their basing, instead of using PVA to glue their various sands and stuff down, they used to use paint. So I'm just slapping some around the bases like this, avoiding the feet, avoiding any details. Pop him in the sand, make sure he's all covered up. Make sure that sort of soaks in a little bit, but not too much, because what we're aiming for here is a very thin layer. And there we have it, and I'm just cleaning off these beveled edges. Just put my finger in there. And I think that should hold down enough sand to give my bases the texture I want, but without covering up any of the details. So I'll finish these two up, and then we will get these guys undercoated. So my Rhinos, Dreadnoughts and Squats are all freshly painted. I started with a coat of Halford's Grey Primer, and then I dusted them all with a white, so they're slightly lighter on the top than they are on the sides. And while I had opportunity at the weekend, while I was on holiday in Brighton at the weekend, I popped into the Warhammer store and I picked up some of this Contrast Flesh Tearers Red. And I don't know how this is going to turn out. So this is an experiment. So make sure this is nice and mixed in. So I'm going to see what this looks like just directly over the grey and the white. And see if it'll save me a few steps and make these guys look cool. So this is darker than most of the contrasts that I've tried so far. There was a lighter red that I noticed, though I can't think of the name right now. But I was a bit more, that looked a bit more orange than I really wanted. Especially as I'm probably still going to highlight on top of this. And I wanted this sort of darker, richer colour. But you know what, this is looking kind of special. Can't really see on the camera, still looks a bit reflective. I'm going to make sure this doesn't pool too much anywhere. So I'm just going to do this one. I'm going to do a squat as well. I'm going to leave that to dry, and I will make a decision when it is dry as to whether or not that is the colour scheme I'm going to go for all my vehicles, and possibly even all my armoured troops. So my tester pieces have dried, and I'm pretty happy with the way they came out. If I was feeling super lazy, I think this would definitely be a perfectly good colour scheme, especially on the little fella, because it's brought out a lot of the details with, you know, basically zero work. So that's something I'll definitely look at for these guys. But I'm going to carry on with a few more experiments with these tester ones, starting with some of this Kato red base. So this is more the sort of red that I want things to end up. So I don't really use dry brushing anymore. I found that my painting improved when I kind of stopped relying on it and actually just started individually highlighting everything. But for stuff of this scale, especially with this many raised edges, I feel like I could probably get use out of it. And actually, yeah, I mean that, once again, the camera's not picking up the best things, but that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that as a base colour. Work on the details. I was going to paint a tank up my traditional way and see how it looked and compare the two, but actually I'm happy with that. So that is going to be my theme now for all my vehicles. So that is going to go from the tank to the Dreadnoughts and even onto my Titan. I do have a Titan in the works and I've sprayed it black, but I'm going to switch that to a white and grey just so I can do this method, I think. And don't worry, you'll definitely be seeing the Titan again in his own video. And once again, just a really quick dry brush. It's really, yeah, that's done it. That's the colour they're going to be. Well, this has turned out to be a quite short session tonight because I've literally just done those two. And now I'm just going to paint the rest of them with my Flesh Tearers red. And then I'll come back tomorrow night and I will dry brush them all with that red. So all the tanks have now had the contrast paint and a dry brush of the lighter red. I think they're looking pretty cool. I think it's obviously a bit samey right now. And it's going to stay that way for a little while. I'm going to go and give all the metal parts and anything that I do want to be black, coat of black. Okay, so I have done all of the gun parts and a few little sort of bits that I want to be metal in black on all of these guys. And then I've also gone around with a bit of Rhinos hide and done a first layer on all the bases. Next step is going to be some of this Retributor Armor. And this is mostly going to be used on the squats because I'm going to do all their armor trim. So across their shoulder pads, probably just across their shoulder pads actually. And then things like banner poles, just like that on all of them. Okay, so I've done a little sprint to the finish here. I have finished the gold trims on all my little squats. And then I've just gone over with a little bit of the pig iron here and just done all their weapons. And I think that's enough for those. And then I've gone over with a sort of ivory and a light brown was these two, on the base, and quickly rimmed it in black. And I'm going to call these guys done. I think they work quite nicely. The Rhinos, even less work, so I did the black before, and then I've just gone over with the silver and just highlighted those black parts back up. I was kind of tempted to do a sort of white freehand, sort of chaos stars or corn symbols, but I'm not feeling up to it today. So that they are essentially done by now. Very simple to paint. And then the last thing is my little Dreadnoughts. They have had a dark grey and then a white highlight on their faces, and the same sort of black and silver effect on their weapons. Once again, keeping them nice and simple. So that is my sort of support units for my first company, all finished up. So let's have a look what the whole company looks like together. Okay, so here we have my first company. We've got my Minotaurs and Trolls with their aspiring champions. We've got some Rhinos, Squats, and Dreadnoughts as support units, and a Chaos Champion as a special choice. So this is probably the only company I'm going to make from the standard Chaos list. Everything else will probably be off the Khorne list. I'm going to do some Demons next. And that's all for this video. Please let me know what you thought down in the comments. Maybe subscribe for more. And as ever, thanks for watching. Bye.